what does he say? Sound by.
Yes.
It's interesting fonts.
He's done most of Yamatatsu's stuff.
Recording.
Yes.
Mixing too.
Yes.
Hey.
Most famous for working with Yamashita Tatsuo-san and Otaki Eiichi-san. So he did Long Vacation, Right on Time, Spacey, For You, and a bunch of other stuff. And he also did a bunch of Minako's stuff too.
Wow, super cool. Like, it's like a really cool creative like bunch.
Yeah.
It's like a scene.
Yeah. And again, like, oh, right. The whole point of like talking about the interview was like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Huh? What?
I touched my mic. The whole point.
My mic is gone. Oh, here.
The whole point of talking about like those interviews was that everyone was saying how Alpha was like a family,
Oh, yeah.
and you can like really
what it
feel
sounds like,
Yeah,
right.
you can really feel it just from looking up.
Because me as a musician, me as someone who came up as a like a studio musician, session players, you know, like it's I always admire, you know, that kind of a place where, you know, artist musician can just come along and try something, like as you said, take risks,
Right.
you know, because with that, you know, you can actually create something that can kind of shape the coming future.
Right. I think, and that's why the Alpha catalog is so good. Like,
Yeah.
any kind of music that you like, you'll find something on Alpha that will blow you away.
You know, full disclosure, when you first told me about the idea of remixing the pops, like the music that came out, you know, before my time, I'm like, cool, you know, just I'm gonna get the you know, singing a cappella track, and then I'll put some hip chords, some, you know, cool beats and stuff. You know, I'm just gonna make this music less pop, more whatever else.
Right.
But then I listened to the, you know, the music that you share with me. They were like, yo, these are actually super hip.
Yeah.
There's so much music in it, you know, the sound,
Yeah.
groove. They were like, oh, it's real quick. I just humble myself. I'm like, oh, senpai, my big bros and big sis, just doing it, you know, just really pushing the culture.
Right.
You know, back in the 70s, and the 80s, man. Yeah.
And there's so many. My favorite era is the 70s. I know, like, and that's
You're
always
talking about the Japanese music scene?
Well, I think
Or just in general?
across the board, it's always been the 70s. Like, the music that I gravitate to just is like 70s-esque, for lack of a better word. And I find that the same with Alpha. Like, because most of their bigger hits, I mean, their biggest hits are really, you know, YMO.
Oh,
You know,
from
and
that level,
that's 78 and on. And Hiroshi Sato is probably one of the more well-known ones today, and that's also like 79 once he joins Alpha, or 82 once he joins Alpha. But like the stuff on Mushroom, because I mean, my like musical background is more like towards like rock.
Yeah,
So I love the Mushroom label.
I see.
Like Kosaka Chu-san, I love that shit.
I'm gonna check it out too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please do.
I have no idea. But
There's this guy, Alan Merrill. I think Merrill First, which is his one record on Alpha,
yeah,
is like hands down one of the most underrated records of all time.
when did it come out?
72. It sounds like it's just like a classic early 70s singer, like psychedelic singer songwriter. You know what I mean? Like Paul McCartney type, like. But it's really good.
I'll definitely check it out.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've talked a fair amount.
this is like a therapy.
Good.
You got me.
We'll
You
do
got
this
me
every week.
You got me kind of emotional with the bio.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Alpha.
Oh,
shit.
your bio. Okay,
Just-
yeah. I was like, we didn't really get through the Minako Yoshida bio. Your bio.
But it's about Yoshida Minako-san, her genius, and then the rich music that Alpha has created.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Alpha. I bow to you.
What are some of your other influences? What are some of your influences as an artist?
What? As an artist?
Yeah.
What by influences?
Yeah. Maybe I'll properly bookend this. I'm gonna move on to the last couple of questions.
Well, you know what? I don't know about my influences, but what I thrive to do in every given moment is to take risks. Like, I kind of, I'm trying to learn by myself. You know what I mean? Like creating process or doing shows as an artist, being in the public, being in front of people and doing it. It's like a process of like self-discovery, and then I kind of feel like I kind of like chaos, and then I like to try to get out of the chaos, unintentionally, because
You like to get into the chaos first and then try
I create
to...
the chaos and I'm trying to get out of it, and in the process of getting out of the chaos, sometimes just magic happens. I feel like. Or not, but taking risks though. So, like Murata-san, yeah, like
Murai-san?
Murai-san, like what you told
thought
me
you were
about
saying-
him and his vision, and then like just what he was doing with the Alpha label. About like it's about letting artists take risks, and then like really experiment and create the music that probably nobody ever heard of. You said in the beginning, like before Alpha, like it was more of like the direct influence from the Western music, and then I'm sure like everybody just listened to a bunch of cool shit, and then like start creating their own. And Alpha probably was one of few, if not only, giving artists the opportunity to like really take risks, man. That's the word.
Yeah. I think the it's interesting because like the whole like Western influence thing is very much like a post-war thing, right? In Japan.
Early 70s, whole 60s. Yeah, I have no idea what it was like.
I mean, all those people grew up listening to, the cool people grew up listening to FEN,
What's
the
that?
military radio.
Oh.
Like Hosono-san and Suzuki-san. And
That's
how they
what, 50s?
discovered-
That's 60s?
That's 50s and 60s.
Because
That's
jazz was huge in the 50s, right?
right, but like,
Toshiko Kiyoshi-san. Super OG.
yeah, I mean,
60s. I have no idea what 60 was like.
I think while jazz was big in the mainstream, I think it was like young people, like the people that go on to make music in the late 60s and the 70s grew up listening to Far East Network, the U.S. military,
That was called Far East Network, FEN.
and I know that's why Hosono likes so much like rockabilly type stuff and like Americana type stuff.
That's in his blood, huh? He
Yeah,
grew up on that.
he grew up listening to that. And I think Alpha, provided people who weren't necessarily interested in doing the most commercial music.
The mainstream that time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, very much at that time, it's all kayokyoku on the radio. Like, when Alpha's first starting, it's all group songs. And then by the time Alpha starts to get going,
Yeah.
by like 69, group sounds is dead and folk is in. And then by like 72, it's all kayokyoku.
That's what was happening in the mainstream.
Yeah.